Nowhere to hide, not even in your head. Welcome to I Hope You Suffer.
Can you hide in your head anyway?
I maybe scanners can?
Physically doesn't make sense.
I need a science corner on scanners. Science. This is episode 238, I think, of I Hope You Suffer. My name's Nathan.
I'm Kit.
And I'm Katie.
And this week, we are talking about absolute banger movie, Scanner Cop 2, The Scanning. Or The Showdown. Or
Rescanned.
One of the 7 subtitles with Stephen Kostanski coming back.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're stoked to finally talk about. At least I am, because I fucking love this movie. So.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, it's great.
What a franchise in general.
Can I just throw out a hot take like right off the top that I feel like the Scanner franchise doesn't really work until it gets into cop territory.
Hard agree.
Agreed.
I tweeted today my hot take that I think Scanner Cop 2 was the best of the franchise.
Yeah,
I don't agree with that.
I think I might agree with you on that.
I love Scanners. It's obviously just like got the reputation it does for a reason. But like, I don't know, the fucking something about Scanner Cop 2 works really well for me, and I think the special effects is.
I think
it's Patrick
Kilpatrick. I know what works, and his name is Patrick Kilpatrick.
Oh my god,
Yep.
he looks like he's got scanner powers in real life.
What?
Literally.
What acting?
Somebody
Dear
do
God.
a super cut of him scanning, like all the shots of him scanning in this movie. Because when he, not to like jump way ahead, but when he melts that couple together, and there's so many shots, he's like going on a whole journey in his face. During that part, I had to watch it twice because I was like, I need to figure out what was the tale he was telling himself in his head, because he like alternates between like kind of mischievous scanning to intense scanning to like a little sad scanning. He scans harder than anyone.
I love a franchise that's just like two dudes just staring as hard as possible at each other in every scene with just like the most insane like noise score under it.
That's why I like Cyborg.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes, Cyborg is a lot of that.
Two men in love, but ultimately they have to kill each other. Like, what else could you ask for?
What I want to know though is like at the end of every shooting day, like how insane were the headaches that these guys?
Oh man.
Oh my gosh,
Fuck.
for real.
They're like veins, and it's not even like, because there's definitely shots where it's effects veins popping on people's heads, but like what's the main actor's name? Something
Daniel Quinn.
Daniel Quinn, like he is going so hard that like he looks like he's just gonna pop for real.
Yeah.
And so imagine like wrapping your day and going home and just like not being able to sleep because your head is pounding. Like
There's like scenes where there's like literally snot coming out of his nose too. So like, you know, he's like physically really going through it.
Every scanning in this seemed so much more taxing than any kind of like method acting anyone's ever attempted.
I like that in this one, Daniel Quinn is like, because it's a sequel, and I guess the first one means the first one was kind of successful. He seems so comfortable in his shoes as like, yeah, I'm Scanner Cop. I'm so cool. Like he's got his jacket. He's got
His hair.
like he's got like a little bit of suave in this one. He's worked through like whatever trauma he went through in the first movie. Now he's just full on Scanner Cop, and I think that's what pushes this movie over the top for me, is that it fully just is the concept of like, yeah, he's a Scanner Cop. Like he even goes on a little like there's like a side mission early on that he goes on where there's that hostage situation. Like I feel like this movie perfectly sums up not just the scanner cop concept, but just scanners in general. In a way that the other movies don't.
It feels very much like the third season of a TV show where like it hit its stride, but then it just ends.
Yes. Yeah, totally. That was something running through my head as I was watching it again, was like, man, I want this to be a show so bad.
Oh, I would watch every week.
The adventures of Scanner Cop and the random shit he gets into, like how he navigates, like that hostage situation was a perfect example of like, yeah, I want more of that, where he like makes people hallucinate and like like forcing people to like turn their guns on each other or like miss their shots. Like, oh, there's so much fun to be had with it. And this movie goes, I think, as far as a budget straight to video 90s movie can go. But I would watch the whole show of this.
Yeah. This is the like we've done enough like CSI, Law and Order. There's enough of that. Let's get
like seriously
a cop that just stares intently at people until their heads explode every week.
I want the scene that was missing was I wanted a scene at like of all like the police chiefs or whatever, like the heads of department all sitting down and being like, okay, so we got this cop, he's a scanner, how can we use him? Like there was no scene of them, but because they're so nonchalant when they bring him in for stuff now in this movie that they're just like, well, call in the scanner cop. That like I wanted to know when did they all sign off on that and go like, right, so this is part of our arsenal that we can bring to the table when there's a situation, is we have a guy that can make people's heads explode. So we got something no other police force has. Let's take full advantage of it. Because like Robert Forster, like I guess is like the chief of police or whatever, is like just super casual about everything scanner related. Even Scanner Cop's partner is like the most laid back partner ever. Like he has such an easy life compared to Scanner. Like you even just like any scene that he's in, I found he would always get like the easy way out, and then Scanner Cop would have to scan or do something insane and dramatic, and the partner's like, well, I guess I'm going home early today.
Well, yeah, it's like I it's been a long time since I've watched like Scanner 2 or 3. And like I feel like there's just this weird sort of jump from like Scanners 3 to Scanner Cop, where like all of a sudden scanners are just like a known entity in the world, and everyone's just like, yeah, like that's down the laundromat. There's people, heads exploding because there's scanners everywhere now.
Yeah, I like that it's reached kind of like X-Men universe level, where it's like, yeah, there's mutants running around and everybody knows about them, and yeah, maybe there's like a stigma attached to them, but like they're around and nobody questions it, which I think is awesome. Like that's when that really opens the doors as far as the storytelling goes, because it doesn't have to be this clandestine thing. It can be we have a hostage situation, bring in the scanner to deal with, which is what puts this movie into fucking awesome territory, in my opinion.
So just imagine the first week of the TV show where it's like, some kind of like bank robbery standoff, and they're like, call him in, and then a like armored ATV rolls up and backs up to like the bank, and it opens up, and then there's just Scanner Cop in there.
Just this dude in a leather jacket that doesn't fit gets out. So Kit, me, and Steven, I'm guessing had all seen this before, and I think this is a first time watch for Katie, so I'm interested. I think Katie's only seen this in Scanners now, so
wow, what a jump.
I'm interested in what Katie's thoughts were of watching this for the first time.
So yeah, I had only seen Scanners, which I watched for the first time and only one time, like I was still living in California, so like 2 years. First of all, I want to say the very, very first time, I meant to look up what episode it was that Steven was on. We did Cyborg, and it was literally my last episode recording before I moved across the country. And this is my first recording, like, having just bought a house. So I feel like anytime that you come on, good things happen for me. So I need you to, like, come on next week so I can get, like, a cool freelance art job, and then the next week. So like, I just need you to keep coming on because that just seems crazy.
I bring all the major life events. That's just
seriously.
I guess that's my scanner power.
I think so. So yeah, I watched this for the first time when I was still living in California, which was like a year and a half ago, maybe. And like, obviously I knew of the reputation of, to be totally honest, did not really know Scanner Cop was a thing, but I knew Scanners was a thing just by reputation. So I was like, I'll just watch this. And like, it was fine. I was like, okay, like I can see why this is kind of like revered in the community or whatever. But it's like, whatever. I have a hard time with the scanner noise specifically because it's like very intense. It's like, wee!
I love it so much.
Every time they're scanning, which
is the whole movie.
Is the whole movie.
Movie.
Like, and rightfully so, right? That's what it's about. And so I had seen that one, and then I just didn't have time to watch anything else. I was going to watch the first Scanner Cop, but I just didn't have time. So yeah, I skipped straight to this one. And I have to say, like, I thought it rocked. It was like the perfect, like, I super love paranormal detective things. Like, that is, if I were to pick like my really niche genre of stuff, like, I love that. Like, I love grim. I love anything where there's like a normal, well, they can have powers or whatever, like a detective, but they're dealing with like fucking weird shit. And this is like exactly that, right? So you have like Scanner Cop, who is a cop who has scanning powers, and then he's kind of, just like doing his shit, and it's like normal for him at this point. And so I don't really feel like I missed out by not, like, kind of like what Steven was saying earlier, is like, this is like where you get to the point where he's just like a normal guy working on the force, and everyone's just kind of like, oh yeah, there's a scanner here, or there's a scanner there, or whatever. And there's like this one scene where the chief of police was like, they're like tracking Patrick, which is like the perfect name for a person. He was like going around, like absorbing, spoiler alert, absorbing powers from other scanners, which I think is like badass. And
super hard.
It's so good.
Very Highlander at this point.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh, you know what? Yes. And I, growing up, loved Highlander. So maybe that's why I liked this so much. Because it reminded me, again, like you said, of like, it reminded me of watching one of those like 90s or late 80s, like sci-fi, like paranormal, like Quantum Leap type of stuff, which I loved. So he's gotta, go, well, because the bad guy obviously is like out to get him specifically because of one small incident that happened or whatever. And the chief of police was just like, I don't know, what do you think he's gonna do? He's one of you. And Scanner Cop is like, he's not one. I'm not like the same as him. He's a murderer. And so there's just like nuances in the story. When you think about like the whole thing as a whole, it's like a fucking wacky storyline, right? Because it's just people that have like telekinesis, they have like powers, and they're like making fucking weird faces at each other the whole time. But there's like a deep underlying like story between the two, and then about them against like the rest of society or whatever. And then it's just like him killing these scanners who like previously people probably thought they were like pariahs or whatever, and there's like that, like that X-Men divide or whatever, but now they're just like one of them is just like a fucking artist in her studio just like trying to live her own life, and he shows up and it's just like, melting her or whatever. And so all of that together I thought was cool. Also, the practical effects in this are just like killer. They're and incredible. I think that's what really, because the story is like, there is a actual connected story, which is like fine, but I think for me it was really the practical effects that like of like the people literally having the life leached out of them, and they're like turning into like zombie things. And then there was like that lady that got like fused to her screen door or whatever, just like literally
so
over
so
the top
sick.
Amazing. So overall I really liked it, and I feel like you don't really need to know anything about the Scanners franchise to like watch and understand what's going on, because it's like pretty self-explanatory, right? But like so yeah, I really liked it.
Scanners franchise is such an incredible combination of words that always brings me joy.
It is like, it's kind of unique, right? Like there's a lot of franchises or stories where people have powers, but like, I don't know, they just like went a step further. And they do something that is cheesy, but I absolutely love when they do in like movies and stuff where they say the title of the movie. Well, the guy, he doesn't
calls
say
him
Scanner Cop 2
a bunch of times.
but he calls him Scanner Cop, and I'm like, yes, I love it. So good.
What was the like subtitle on it for you guys? Because I have that Vinegar Syndrome Blu-ray, and I believe it was something like Revenge of Volkin.
It's whatever his last name is Revenge, but then like the actual case says The Showdown.
Right.
Fair.
There's so and somehow one of these it's there's Scanners The Showdown, Scanner Cop 2 Volkin's Revenge, Scanner Cop 2 The Showdown. And then it's also labeled as Scanner Cop 4 or Scanners 4 Scanner Cop and Scanners 4 The Showdown. So just completely like getting rid of the first Scanner Cop.
Oh, it's probably fine.
It's also, I guess, the only franchise to ever just switch to being like, oh, the title thing is also Cop now. And they, like, instead of just going, like, Scanners 4 or whatever. I mean, I guess some alternate versions had that, but it's just funny to me to imagine, like, other franchises, like, going that route.
Friday the 13th Cop.
Yeah. Yeah, Wishmaster Cop, like...
Oh, man, I'm fucking in.
I'd watch the shit out of that.
I just remember whenever we did the bonus episode where we did Scanners, I think it was right before Vinegar Syndrome announced they were releasing that set. And I remember, like, I had no idea that was a thing that existed. I knew the first 3 existed, but I didn't know Scanner Cop was a thing, and it like melted my brain when we were talking about it. I was like,
no pun intended.
What a fucking terrible idea. And then like
it was definitely like the brunt of the joke in the video store years for me, where I would just look at the cover and like scoff at it and be like, Scanner Cop, that's dumb. Yeah. But then I actually like sat down and watched them back to back. I was like, holy crap, why did I sleep on these movies? They are so good.
That was basically the same thing where I was like this sounds real stupid. I'm gonna watch the shit out of these. And then Vinegar Syndrome released that set, so I bought it, and it's just like put them both in, expecting it to just be like some goofy like late 80s, early 90s, like, straight to cable TV thing, and I was like, holy shit, these are like legitimately good.
These rock.
Like
who knew?
They also like highlight a flaw with the Scanners franchise, which is I feel like they did, like, especially that original movie, like outside of that head explosion, these movies don't really have a whole lot going on, and so adding the cop layer to me is like it just feels like now there's like a fully fleshed out story, whereas before, I don't know, like that original movie to me is a bit of a slog, where maybe it's sacrilegious to say that, but because it's Cronenberg and all, but like, I don't know, I need a little extra something to the plot, like, because the main guy in the original Scanners is a bit of a nothing character, so to have somebody with some depth and actual like pulling it into a kind of cop story as well, like detective procedural stuff, it like instantly just gives it another layer of interest that I really appreciated, and I think draws attention to the flaws of that original trilogy.
I agree, and I think the thing that I think that both Scanner Cop movies did really well that kind of makes them like infinitely watchable is just like, especially Scanner Cop 2, is like adding the layer of him like sucking the scanner powers out of people to where they essentially just like turn into like a burnout husk, where you could do more special effects stuff other than like a head exploding or veins popping out or whatever, like really adds more like watchability to it, because like the special effects, especially in this one, but really both the Scanner Cop ones, are impressive. Like Katie mentioned earlier, the lady gets melted into the fence.
It's like enough stuff that upon rewatch you forget all the gags that are in it. Like on this second watch through, I forgot about the lady fused into like the grating of her door. Like it's such a horrific gag, and then she like kind of like delaminates from herself, like her pulls away.
Yeah, her husband just like pulls the back half of her body away from it, and I was like, oh. Well, and I think like the thing for like obviously I don't know a lot about actually doing effects, but there's a lot of stuff that you can watch and be like, okay, I can like sort of figure out how they did this. But I feel like there's a lot of stuff in this that like looks so real still, and not like, I don't know. There's a lot of scenes where people's like skin is like bulging out or whatever, and like obviously that kind of technique like I'm familiar with, but it still looks really real. And there's like other movies that you'll watch from like around this time where they've put like latex over certain parts, but then you can see like the stage makeup is like 10 shades different than like their actual skin color. But in this, it just like literally looks like they are actually like having bubbly skin or whatever. And so I think that's like part of, I was not expecting that at all. And there's like scan after scan, like people are getting fucked up left and right in this movie. It's like constant. And so to me, that was like super impressive.
I think the editing is going a long way to like tell all these effects too. I really clocked it on this watch that like they're very specific about when they show stuff. They show a lot, but they're not like, it doesn't really hold on anything for too long. So you get to that point where you're like, oh yeah, this is just like, it's a latex with some bladders underneath. Like it's done in such a way that I think it just sells the overall concept really nicely. And like, even with like the lady fused into like that grating, I feel like they cut away at the exact right time to make that feel just horrifying. And there's even moments I feel like where they avoid showing stuff. I think, is it the surveillance footage they're watching where Volkin, whatever the bad guy's name is, like he like makes one of the orderlies shoot himself.
Yeah.
And it like cuts away before it happens, and it cuts to Scanner Cop like reacting to it, and I'm like, oh, that was like a really impressive bit of restraint in Scanner Cop 2.
Yeah. And it also is like, I feel like that's like an effective cutaway where you're already like, where you've already seen like, you know, a dude turned into like a melted, burned out husk in like the alleyway or whatever.
Yeah, I think the movie knows when it's like giving you enough, and knows to like use cinematic language in an interesting way to like tell you what's happening without just being like, here's that exact gag again. So,
yeah, especially when like, I think the first Scanner Cop does a head explosion, but like, you know, like you're coming off a franchise that started the first movie with like maybe the most famous head explosion in like cinema. So like, I appreciate the restraint of not having like a, you know, Tom Savini style shotgun blast head explosion in this.
I mean, it does, we do get one at the very end, which watching it frame by frame, it looks like it's actually two separate shots of heads exploding. So it's almost like maybe like the first half of one take was better than the back half of a second take, and they like cross cut. But it, I felt like it was just like a nice little cherry on top of the whole thing to be like, and here's that head explosion that you guys probably were waiting for
right.
The whole. We gave you all the other gags that like crazy, way more insane gags than you were expecting. Here is the classic Scanner's head explosion, just to like cap off the whole thing for you, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, as a treat.
Yeah,
you can have a head explosion as a treat.
Sorry, I was just gonna say that I do wish that this movie had Richard Lynch in it. Like, he's the villain in the first Scanner Cop, and I just love that guy so much. He's such a great villain in anything. Like, I think it's Puppet Master 3 he's the bad guy in. He's just like Invasion USA, I think he's the bad guy. He's just such a go-to 80s and 90s bad guy. And I like, it would have just really tied the whole thing together if we had some of him in this movie. But unfortunately, he dies in Scanner Cop.
Yeah, I was watching, because I've only watched Scanner Cop once now, but I think I've watched Scanner Cop 2 a handful of times, and like, watching it this time, I was like, was this guy like the bad guy in one? And then I had to look it up, and I was like, wait, no, he just gets introduced in this. It's like, I love the idea of doing like a movie that's subtitled like Volkin's Revenge for a character that wasn't even introduced until like the movie.
I know, I had the same problem where I was gonna watch both, and then I ended up just watching two, and then thought like, oh damn it, like, is this tying into something specific that I'm forgetting from the first movie? But no, they're just pretending that you should know, which really adds to the like serialized vibe of this movie, where it feels like very like Last Time on Scanner Cop, and you're like kind of diving into an adventure, and you're expected to know everything that came before it.
Yeah, it's a lot like what was that, Phantom of the Mall, Eric's Revenge, where like you spend half the time thinking like, are we supposed to know why Eric's mad? And then it's just like, oh no, you just get a flashback at the end or whatever.
That's fucking another perfect movie.
I love it. Like, give me more movies where I think I missed the prequel, and then like just have me be confused the whole time, and then show me a flashback, and I'll be like, oh yeah, of course.
Big fan of Kane Hodder, showed up just to make a lot of wild faces.
The best acting of his career.
Okay, so this movie has a couple ties to Ghoulies Go to College that I've clocked. One of them being like John Buechler did the effects on this, who directed Ghoulies Go to College. That also has a Kane Hodder cameo in it. And so I'm feeling like this is sort of, well, no, this is like way later than like Friday the 13th Part 7, which Buechler directed and obviously had Kane Hodder in it. But I think they must have had some kind of relationship where he was like, hey, like, do you want to just like pop in on these movies and just do like random little bits in them? Because yeah, it's such a like small cameo. And it just made me think of the Ghoulies Go to College cameo that he has, where he, I think he's like a janitor, and he falls in a bucket with wheels and slides down some steps.
Oh yeah.
But also, you guys notice that the couple that gets melted together, the husband is the main guy from Ghoulies Go to College.
Oh no shit.
Yeah, what was it, the King of Yanks or whatever they called Frank in that movie. But yeah, thought that was a fun little connection, which I wonder also was the John Buechler kind of connection there.
I feel like it has to be, because like if he was sort of like in charge of like the special effects team, I feel like he probably just threw in people he knew were like good with special effects into these roles.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, oh, you acted with a bunch of little puppets before. How about I melt you into a puddle of goo?
Oh man, that scene is so good. Like, hey, when he just melts that couple together.
I just love that. So the idea is that if you like touch, like somebody's getting scanned and you touch them, you get roped into the scanning, I guess.
Yeah. Duh, didn't you know that? That's like such a common law of scanning.
I know, I really should pick up on these things. This intricate scanner lore that they just assume.
This is the franchise that like deserves the like 40 set novelization spin-offs.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Please, somebody do it. I want it. You know what? Let me check my website just to make sure.
I am legitimately sad that there isn't more Scanner Cop stuff out there.
Yeah,
like,
same.
while I was watching the movie, I was trying to find like, are there even like, can I even get like a T-shirt for this? Like, I just want, I want something to promote how much I love Scanner Cop, and there's really nothing out there.
Well, if you want a T-shirt of Scanner Cop skateboarding, I can do that for you.
Okay, I mean, that would be great. I think it should be Scanner Cop and the villain is also on a skateboard chasing him.
Just staring at each other on either ends of like a half pipe.
Yeah.
I
The
gotta
showdown.
say, like, you were talking before about how, like, I also want to do one of those things where, you know, those like things where they'll show like a person and it's like their different moods. It's like happy, sad. Like, I'm gonna do one of Volkin, but it's like mischievous.
All of his scans.
All of his scan faces, because there's one in particular that I love because I hate it so much, which is like the one where he's like grinning, but he has like a weird like
that like flat grin smile thing he does.
I hate
like
it.
Looking out from under his brow a little bit. Yeah,
Yes.
I don't like that one either.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
That one's a little too horny scanning for me. Also, did you guys laugh when the guy in the alley that he like hardcore scans as he like sucks the life out of him? It's like this super protracted effect sequence.
It's so long.
And then right at the very end of it, he just goes, "Yes!" Like, that was awesome.
He was stoked.
Then he says, "Was it good for you, Jonesy?" And I was like, no, because you know why I hate Jonesy.
His like quips were pretty uninspired in this movie, I gotta say, to the point of being funny. But like anytime they pause on him, it's like, oh, he's gonna say something good. It was always something to that level of like, you just make that up in the moment. That's not. Patrick is not a master.
The absolute best line of the entire movie, maybe franchise, is the flashback of the scanner cop making Kilpatrick kill his partner, and after he does it, and he's like, "I'm gonna kill you so bad."
Yes. That made me laugh.
I was watching it this morning while my partner was getting ready for work, and I just hear coming from like the other room, "Kill you so bad." Just like Caitlin just like cracking up, and I was like, "Stop it! This movie's perfect. Leave it alone."
How dare you laugh?
The line that got me was when they go to that like psych ward and they're talking to the head doctor there, and at the end of the scene, the doctor's like, "We've got like 2 dead orderlies, an escaped lunatic, like a scanner on the loose. Like, this has been a terrible week." And then it cuts to Scanner Cop and he goes, "And it's only Wednesday." And then hard cut to the next scene, and it's like the only moment in that movie where I don't know, it really felt like they were like, this is a good bit to end this dramatic scene on.
I mean, if you think about it, that is like quintessential like cop show banter, where they think that like they're so hard by like having come up with this thing.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Oh, yeah. If anything, I could have used a bit more banter with him and his partner. But again, his partner is so laid back in this movie. Like, he doesn't even seem like he has the energy for quips. He's just kind of wants to go home early every day.
Yeah.
I also want to shout out the nurse in this movie, Jewel Shepard, from the absolute classics Hollywood Hot Tub and Hollywood Hot Tub 2, Educating Crystal. 2 movies I watched this summer that are pretty bad.
Of course.
Yeah, I just need like at least somebody reboot this. 3 more of these.
Yeah,
well,
please.
Isn't there talk of like a Scanner show or something? I thought they announced that.
Probably.
But like,
I think there was a HBO.
Just go pick Scanner Cop, please. Like, make it a Tubi original series. I'll do it. Do it. You don't need money for this. It's just people. It's just guys staring at each other and quivering. It's pretty low impact stuff.
I just imagine the like Tubi Asylum Films version of this.
No. I would rather never see this happen than have Asylum do it.
No, give me Scan Side of the Moon.
Ooh.
All the scanners are on the moon now, and they're fighting the
Scanner
sharks.
Cop is for some reason on the moon now. Yeah,
I love it.
That's what you need.
What's funny is this concept, I feel like it can be ported to pretty much any subgenre, and it would work. Like, scanners in space is not that stupid of an idea.
Look, you said anything to space, I'm in.
Yeah,
I mean, pretty much.
Yeah, you're not sending a leprechaun to space. It's like, guys guys scanning. I'd love to see somebody get scanned in a spacesuit and then their head pops inside their helmet. Like that'd be awesome.
There was a story recently about how apparently at some point there was talks of like John Carpenter coming back to Halloween and taking Michael Myers to space, and I was like, this could have saved the franchise. What are we doing?
Well, I heard the only reason he pitched that was because he wanted to sink the franchise.
Look, like that would have saved it for me.
So September of 2022, there was an article that said the series is going to happen with Cronenberg executive producing.
Okay, that means he's getting a paycheck.
Yeah. William Bridges from Black Mirror will serve as writing and showrunner, and then somebody from Lovecraft Country on board to direct. So, but I don't know. September wasn't that long ago, so could still be in the works. But I'm like totally on board with the series, though.
Yeah, if he's not a cop, I'm out. I need.
Well, yeah, it doesn't specifically say that.
I need it to be a detective show at the same time.
Well, I think we can all agree it needs to just jump into the universe.
Yeah.
Where everybody knows what scanners are, and there's none of this. Like, I was so happy that there was no scene of some outsider character being like, "What's a scanner?" And then somebody has to like sum it up. Like, there was that super quick summary.
Yeah, like it was like a TV news report or something.
There's the TV news report, but then also there was like the quick bit from, I think it was like the main girl's friend, about the like incident up in Toronto, like referencing the first movie. But it all just worked in the context of like they're doing research, and it's like it none of it felt forced, and none of it felt like, oh, here's that scene that every one of these movies has to have where they sum up what happened before and it takes forever. And there was no like character who had to be convinced. I guess that's right. That's the main thing. I don't want to watch somebody get convinced of the title thing of the movie. I just want everyone to be on board, because that's why I'm watching it, is because I'm on board. I want to see scan. I don't want to watch somebody have disbelief over there being scanners in the first place.
I'm interested. I'm interested in a Scanners TV show, but also like you said, I don't need, the first whole season being about, well, what are scanners?
What's a scanner?
Yeah.
Where do they come from?
What are these powers that I have? I need to understand them. And then you have somebody explain, and then there's a episode that's just training on how to scan. Like, I don't want to watch any of that.
Yeah, just
Well, because like you said, like they literally cover, like I said, I'd seen the first movie like 2 years ago. I don't remember where the scanner powers come from. I also actually don't care. If you were just like, people have telekinesis or whatever, or they can scan, I'd be like, cool, absolutely. But they literally like tell you like which actually like the backstory behind it, I'm also totally on board with them. Like, cool, you gave some pregos medicine and now their kids have powers. Like, totally, I'm on board with that. So I think like, yeah, they just like don't even need to explain any of that stuff, because also who cares? Like, the scanning is why we're here.
And I do appreciate the simplicity of that explanation. And I like how real world it feels like. It's a nice detail in this movie that there's scanners who take their pills and are just normal people, because why would anyone really want this burden, And like, I think that's something that I feel like in more like superhero based stuff they don't really address.
Yeah, like
maybe people just don't want to deal with that, and it's normal, and there's no stigma about it. It's like, yeah, they have to take this pill every day to keep them from blowing up people's heads, and that's fine.
Right. I like appreciate that even though it's like kind of minor in this, because it's like on two levels. Like, one, it's like, okay, actually, if you don't take this medicine that suppresses your powers, you literally go insane, which sounds like not super fun to me.
Yeah.
But then you have people who either take the medicine, then they're normal, they live normal lives. But then you do have some, like, I think at some point someone said that the scanner cop takes like a special form of medicine where it suppresses him going crazy, but he can still use his powers, which to me seems like that's like an elite thing, right? Like, not everyone can do that. He's privileged, and so that's why he has that option. that totally makes sense to me.
I do want to flag that hilariously quick plot hole cover up, that line you're talking about, where they're like, oh, he has a special medication that like keeps him from going insane, but also lets him use his scanner powers. So before you, the audience, even bring that up, we've addressed it.
Yeah, listen, don't
worry about this.
Yeah,
but like,
we don't need to dwell on it.
It goes back to something I really like since you mentioned superheroes, like it kind of does remind me of like Civil War, where it's like some superheroes are like, yeah, totally, we should just like let people know who we are because like they deserve to know, and then other people are like, no, absolutely, I don't want to. And then there's like, okay, spoilers for Flash the TV show, which I think nobody cares about except me, but there is a part where like some of them are they like create this medicine or pill or something, this like antidote you can take that will literally take away your powers, and it's like a big debate as to whether they want to do that and go back and lead a normal life, because like as us the people watching, we're like, why wouldn't you want superpowers? That seems really cool. But then it's like it like brings it down to like a more real life level where it's like, yeah, well, you have powers, but also you're like maybe accidentally hurting people, or like people are coming after you because you have powers, and then this obviously you literally go insane and try and kill people, which again doesn't seem super fun to me. So it's like that added layer of like them making this seem more grounded, I think makes all of the crazy shit work even better.
Well, it's like a big X-Men thing where I feel like anytime they do anything with Rogue, it's always about how she wants to take some medicine that'll like get rid of her powers because she can't touch people without almost killing them.
I mean, for sure.
Bring Rogue into the Scanner show.
I have a question about the climax, because this is when I was searching on my phone for Scanner Cop t-shirts, so maybe I missed this detail, but in the end when they're having like their final showdown and Scanner Cop is using other people as kind of like decoys that are getting completely wrecked in the most horrible ways possible. Those were like living innocent people, right?
Yeah, one dude's just like a janitor or something. It's like,
but like they weren't like Volkin didn't kill them already, did he? Like,
I don't think so. Like the way I've watched it, anytime I've watched it, I just assume he's throwing bodies at this dude.
Yeah,
because that's
how I read it.
To me was like they're just guys, innocent people that this cop is like, well, you're collateral damage. You just gotta go in there and pretend to be me, and your head's gonna get split. And I hope you like that.
Sorry, you just happen to be here.
One of my favorite things is that, like, for some reason, the cover art for the Vinegar Syndrome release is just like the security guard that gets his face split in half, and not like
so good
either of the two actual like stars of the movie.
Because I feel like they're all about just featuring whatever the gag is. I'm trying to remember what the big gag was in. Oh no, I was remembered it as I was saying that sentence, but the like little heads coming out of the guy's head in the
I always assumed that was this movie for some reason.
That is a real showstopper moment, I gotta say.
Yeah,
that's the like if you go into the like Letterboxd app, that is the like main cover for Scanner Cop, and I was going to say I need somebody to explain to me what's happening here.
No, you gotta watch it.
I mean, I think I have to, and then it's like one of those things where like the cover that they have is like the Scanner Cop guy, but he has like a laser shooting out of his eye, which is to me not like
not accurate.
Yeah, and he's got the vein though, so like the vein was accurate.
I like, for some reason, like I've only watched Scanner Cop one time. But, like, in my mind, I always associated that thing with, like, the smaller heads popping out of his head as being in this one as, like, part of, like, something with Volkin happening. And I can't remember, like, what that actual effect has to do with anything in Scanner Cop 1.
I believe it's just it's a representation of him, like, going crazy from being able to scan. And it's, like, all the voices in his head are like tearing him apart, so it's like a visual representation.
Okay. That makes sense.
Guess. I think. I mean, maybe want to check the tape on that, but that's what I remember it being.
It's a pretty great special effect though. Like I remember it like looking pretty realistic for how like crazy it is.
It's upsetting.
Yeah.
It's upsetting to view.
I mean, I've been staring at it for an hour, so I don't disagree with you there.
It is a little disappointing to me that in 2 they don't try to do something as weird as that. Like, I mean, lots of crazy stuff in 2, but I don't know. It's kind of hard to top like a bunch of little baby heads busting out of a guy's forehead. Pretty special.
What if TV show bring in the scanner cop, but he's got the little heads out of his head, and each one of those little heads can also scan.
Yes.
But like,
I like the idea.
I don't know, like children.
I like
because they're small.
I mean, maybe that's just the visual representation of scanning now, instead of just people like trembling and like looking.
And every time the little faces are like, wah!
Yeah, like when they're scanning, just tiny heads pop out of their foreheads and start screaming.
Yeah, I like that.
But what you gotta do,
HBO, call us.
You gotta have 5 different frequencies of the scanner noise happening.
Fuck.
So it's just overlapped over each other as they're all doing it.
God, mixing that sound would be not fun. I imagine the sound editor of these movies probably was real pissed off at the end.
I listen to
fucking sound again.
I love that the score to Scanner Cop 2 is pretty much just that noise, because they scanned so much in this movie, and that like that's all that plays. And I feel like I can't remember there being any other sort of score other than that in the entire movie.
There is, but that's under or over it in every scene.
There is a bit of score, and it feels pretty like rinky-dink for what the movie should have. Like it almost feels like a full moon kind of score at times, where it's maybe they were like, realized the last minute, they're like, oh shit, we got this like shot of Volkin running up the stairs, we got to put something over this, we have to deliver this movie in a week. And so they're like, well, get out the keyboard and do something, fill in these gaps, because they assumed it was all just going to be scanner noises.
I wish this movie had like more trivia stuff on IMDb than it does, because I'd be curious as to like how long they actually took to like make this movie.
Yeah, I mean, even just thinking about each gag, like each effect in the movie, especially the ones that are makeup heavy, it's like that's a lot of application time. Like you're looking at like a few hours to like process the person and deprocess them. Like, so I don't know. Like it doesn't strike me as the kind of movie that would be like farted out on a 15-day schedule. Like it seemed like they had time, but it's also the era where these kinds of movies had more money than you would expect them to.
It only had like a $4 million budget, which is like insane for the.
But that's also like what, 1994?
94, give or take, when it was being made.
So like, I think we could assume that that's maybe closer to like 8, which is okay. For that kind of movie, they probably had like a few $100,000 for the effects. What I want to know is like, were these back to back? Like, did they do 1 and 2 simultaneous? Because that might have.
Well, according to Letterboxd, Scanner Cop came out in 94 and Scanner Cop 2 came out in 95.
Yeah, I mean they came out
not a lot.
Pretty close together, but I don't see any sort of like budget info for Scanner Cop 1, only 2.
I mean, that Vinegar Syndrome Blu-ray, I think it has a commentary on it that I want to listen to.
I think the one for Scanner Cop 2 is like a comedy podcast doing the commentary, which is like kind of a bummer, because I really wanted like actual info on it as opposed to people just kind of making fun of it.
Yeah, well, I know it does look like there are bonus features. At least there's some interviews and stuff. So hopefully I can track down some insights into this.
There's like a I think it like ends up being about 50 minutes combined, but there's like a documentary with like interviews that's like mostly or broke up into like 2 parts for like the 2 movies.
Right. Okay.
Oh no, I guess Scanner Cop 2 does have a commentary with the director.
Yeah, that's what.
Oh hell yeah!
I have to listen to that. I feel like one of these, maybe Scanner Cop 1 had like a commentary track by We Hate Movies podcast for Scanner Cop.
Yeah, that was you put that in the review.
Um,
Let's fight them.
Yeah, I gotta go back. I know I listened to it. I just don't remember. Now I'm like really interested. For some reason, I thought it was like vice versa. I gotta listen to the Steve Barnett.
I want John Beekler and Kane Hodder doing commentary. Scanner Cop 2.
Well, I don't think that's gonna happen anymore.
Yeah, they did do that commentary for Friday Part 7. There's one that's the 2 of them. That's actually quite informative. I would highly recommend that. And yeah, it's unfortunate that Beekler's passed because he was a real legend for these types of movies.
Oh, he was so good.
Yeah.
Like, just a great special effects person. And, like, even, like, the like, I back Ghoulies Go to College. The movie's extremely fun.
Yes,
Like, just
it fucking rules.
It's the best Ghoulies, in my opinion.
like, his directing is all extremely fun. Like, Cellar Dweller, fucking Dungeon Master.
Oh, yeah. No, he's like, I don't know, the like effects artist turned director. I think he's a good model of how to do it. Because there's, I don't know, I feel like certain effects people like a Stan Winston or something, they treat it more as a prestige thing of like, oh, now I'm directing a movie. Whereas Beekler, it's like, now I have an excuse to have more wacky puppets.
Right.
He's got like some like shit that like I feel like would pop up on Tubi that I would never watch unless I realized it was him. Like, well, I don't know what Deep Freeze is because this poster's terrible, but I'm in.
Are you just looking at his filmography right now?
Yeah. Like,
I'm also gonna look this up.
Deep Freeze, whatever. The Eden
I
Formula.
feel like I've heard of Deep Freeze.
Like a big T-Rex on it. Whatever Wizard
I need to watch
Dream
Troll
is.
again. Troll, all-time #1.
Wizard Dream starring Malcolm McDowell. I'm in.
I want Grandpa's Place. Grandpa's Place. It's got Ed Lautner.
Let's just turn this into a John Carl Beekler podcast.
I mean, Wizard Dream is the fact that Wizard Dream is one word.
I know.
Perfect.
Very exciting.
I just like on Letterboxd the plot synopsis is just a fantasy science fiction sword sorcery film from director John Carl Beekler. It's like,
fuck yeah, sold.
So,
also only has 2 people that have even said they've seen it on Letterboxd, so I got track.
There's also a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde movie where Tony Todd is Jekyll and Hyde.
Oh shit, I'm in.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, this filmography warrants a deep dive, I think.
This we're gonna pick like a 2-month span and just do these like non-Friday the 13th and Troll movies.
Dungeon Master's also one word.
Yeah, Dungeon
Perfect.
Master rocks.
I feel like
I
I've
think
seen
I've
his
seen it.
one. Was it Curse of the 49er from 2002? This sounds very familiar to me.
This is also on Tubi.
It looks like one of those straight-to-video movies that I would have rented just as a joke.
Man, Richard Lynch and
Shit,
Karen
yes,
Black in it.
Ooh.
Lynch,
Vernon
right?
Wells, right?
Yeah, Vernon Wells. Oh man, Martin Cove. What the hell?
I know what I'm doing tonight.
Yep.
And you
Watchers Reborn also has Kane Hodder and Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill outside of Star Wars, always good.
Oh yeah.
Literally.
His fucking segment in Body Bags is great.
Yes.
Where you see his balls.
Do you? I don't remember that.
Yeah,
Perfect
when he's,
acting.
That's why it's great.
he's banging his wife, and there's a moment where you see more Mark than you want to see.
Ball cam.
Oh jeez.
Yeah, traumatizing.
All right. Anybody got anything else on Scanner Cop 2?
Just that it
Oh.
kicked ass.
There's specifically a scene I really liked where Volkin is using a cop as I called it a cop puppet, and he's like walking around with the cop, like, and the cop is just like shooting all of his cop friends.
Yes.
And then they go outside and there's a cop like driving towards them in a cop car, and he just like makes him stand in the alley and get like fucking wrecked by a cop car. And I was like, this was like amazing.
That was actually something I wanted to bring up, was like all the collateral damage. Like, imagine being one of those people who like is just minding their own business, and then all of a sudden you like come to, and it's 10 minutes later and you've like shot all your friends. And it's like, oh, I didn't even do anything. Like, just, I don't know. It's such a like traumatizing thing that they completely skim over, and it's just like, yeah, you just like,
oh yeah.
All right. Okay. This is the new pitch for the TV show.
Okay.
Scanner therapist. Where it's just like Dr. Katz, but it's all people that had like been forced to do shit against their will from a scanner, and they're just having to like deal with it in therapy.
I don't know. I feel like the framing device of having the show be centered on somebody who just is one of those innocent bystanders, and it's like they come to and they're just standing over like a bunch of dead bodies, and they don't know how it happened, and they find out that they've been scanned, and that is kind of like what sends them almost on like a revenge mission. I feel like that is a good hook for a show. I would watch that.
We could probably just pitch like 12 different scanner shows and just have a whole fucking network that's just scanners.
Have it be like not a show, like just have it be like episode by episode. Like sometimes it can be the cop, sometimes it's a scanner therapist, sometimes it's just like a random person.
It's like do an anthology thing like True Detective where it's a different thing every season.
That's what I'm so baffled by is scanners. Like, even just us talking about it, it's so easy to come up with fun ideas. It's baffling to me that they haven't made like 100 movies with just the scanner name attached, because it's such a cost-effective premise that's easily transferable. Like, in fact, there's only 5 of them is pretty lame to me.
Yeah, the fact.
So Scanner Cop 2 is the last one.
Yeah.
Yep. This is the finale.
That seems insane to me. Why would they do this one and be like, all right, we're done?
I know.
Hell of a send-off for the Scanners franchise.
Well, because
fair.
Like, it's, it's not on IMDb, but I'd be curious because like this was just straight to video, so I'd be curious of what sort of like money it actually made.
Yeah.
Like, because it seems like $4,000 for this, or $4 million or whatever, like seems like a pretty cheap way to just make like a straight to I guess around this time, maybe. I guess it would have had to just been straight to VHS. I don't think DVD had started up yet in 95. But like, I don't know, it seems like if this movie, like, I'm surprised there wasn't another Scanner Cop movie, because it seems like it was cheap to make, and then like I imagine it probably did okay in like the video rental era.
Yeah, well, and that was like the height of that era too. Like, yeah, I'm surprised that there isn't at least a third one that completely shits the bed to justify them not making more. Like, it's not like the like Warlock franchise where it's like you get to the third movie in that and it's not even Julian Sands, and it just feels like so cheap and lame. It's like, okay, I understand why this got buried, but Scanner Cop 2 seemed to be showing a rising trajectory of like, oh, these are just getting more fun. So why stop?
Yeah, I just think of like all of these franchises that just keep getting rebooted and like sequels that are always terrible, and then Scanner Cop's just languishing there.
Yeah, especially compared to something where it's like, like the Hellraiser sequels, where there's like cast return to like legacy actors you gotta bring back Doug Bradley, gotta put him in the makeup again. It's like all this expensive stuff, and it's like, well, Scanner Cop, you can just, like, I don't think Daniel Quinn's doing much. and you just have to make him like do his scanner face, and that's it, and have a couple games. Like, it just seems so cost effective to me for a franchise.
Yeah, I mean, he was in Get the Girl in 2017, so I don't think he's doing a whole lot lately.
Well, I believe he passed away.
Oh, did he?
Oh.
It was 2015. Because, yeah, immediately after watching the movie yesterday, I was like, is he still around? Can I put him in something? And no.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I would say he was in some short movie in 2020, but...
Well, apparently, according to TV Guide, they only gave it a 2 out of 5, so it's their fault. Burn TV Guide. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's only got a... that's a 3-star average on Letterboxd. It's surprising.
That's, yeah.
Yeah, just... I'd say high recommend from everybody for Scanner
Yeah.
2.
Yeah, totally.
Easy.
I don't know if it's streaming anywhere other than, like, YouTube, but,
Because I had some friends asking me about it, and I was like, "Oh, you gotta watch the Scanner Cop movie," and they're like, "Where can I watch it?" And I looked it up, and no, it's not streaming anywhere. I don't think so.
yeah, so I know there's, like, a boot on YouTube, so
Okay,
if you want to watch it, I mean, honestly, by the Vinegar Syndrome release, it looks great. And
but the 2-pack is sold out.
yeah, they have them separately on there.
Yeah, I guess you can just order them separate,
Yeah.
but still, it sucks. It's like, I want to push that box set on everybody.
Yeah, that box set's so good.
Same.
So worth it.
Probably one of the best blind buys I feel like I've made.
I wanted both those movies for so long, and they announced the 2-pack, and I was like, I don't care. I've never seen it. I'm buying it. Whatever.
Yeah, it was pretty
Incredible investment.
Pretty soon after we had talked about it on the podcast. Like, I feel like we talked about it, and then like 3 weeks later they had announced it was coming out, and I was like, oh, what great timing. Because I feel like if we had not talked about it, I would have been like, what the fuck is Scanner Cop? And like never even like thought about buying it.
Yeah.
We should will some more low budget straight to DVD classics into being.
I agree. Let's just I'm just gonna dig through Letterboxd, and every episode I'll just start mentioning random movies and see if they
It does seem to happen a lot. All I'm saying is that it has been very coincidental.
Like,
so
I've been talking about Replicator for a long time, and apparently Visual Vengeance is getting around to it. So
4K of Man's Best Friend next week. Make it happen.
Watched that really recently. That's a fun one.
Yeah, that's so good.
I'm just going to put it out into the ether that I need a Vinegar Syndrome Blu-ray of Abraxas, Guardian of the Universe.
Well, 100%.
Because I don't even know where you can get that movie now. The version that I bought decades ago was like a DVD that wasn't even in a case. It was like in a paper sleeve. That's what they were selling it in. It's so cheap. But yeah, that deserves a fancy Blu-ray set with a commentary, retrospective interviews. I want all of it. So
I'm seeing, I just looked this up, and I'm looking at the cover, and I'm seeing a real trend with you and movies with people shooting lasers out of their eyes. So I think I've figured you out.
Yeah, see, 2 movies where lasers out of the eyes, that does not happen in the actual film itself.
To be fair, I feel like every movie poster should just have like lasers coming out of someone's eyes.
100%.
All right.
That's something I want to see, is that artist doing that artwork and then being like, "It's just, I need something to tie this all together." What about a laser?
It's just like
a beam of light from someone's eye.
Just a new version of like the Psycho Gorman poster, but for some reason like Adam Brooks has lasers coming out of his eyes.
You're selling me.
I mean,
I would love, like a Drew Struzan painted cover for that movie, like poster. And it's like PG isn't even the biggest character on the poster. It's just Adam's giant head.
PG's not even on it. Who cares? Adam has laser eyes.
Yeah.
all right.
So
we'll let you get out of here. Taking up an hour of your time. We absolutely appreciate you coming back on. This was extremely fun. Finally getting to talk about this.
I feel like I've said it before, but I'm more than happy to talk about this kind of stuff. I don't get to do it enough anymore. So
Yeah.
Anytime you got something in this world that you want to chat about, let me know.
Yeah, we're definitely down
Hell
for
yeah.
more of these. I know we said it last time. Next time for sure we'll pick a full moon something.
Yes,
Puppet Master.
Yeah.
Watched Puppet Master 2 the other night, and holds up. But I'd be happy to watch one of the trashier, more awful. Just to dissect it. Maybe a retro Puppet Master. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll figure something out for sure. There's about 19 Puppet Master movies we could pick from. So,
Yeah.
do you have anything you want to promote or anything like that while you're here? Or
I mean, as always, I am deep in development on so many things that I can't talk about. But yeah, just go to my Instagram, Kill Kostanski, and I occasionally post behind the scenes stuff on there on things that I'm working on, and may tease at upcoming projects occasionally. So yeah.
I know one thing that I don't know if you've announced yet, that like, because we were trying to do this episode back in like November, that
Yes,
Steven got hired on something that I was like, oh my god, I can't wait. So I'm assuming whenever that airs and it's like announced, I'm sure we'll talk about it on here because it's pretty exciting.
Oh yeah, well, last year I did bounce around a lot in between development, doing set days on all sorts of random shows. So I got to dip my toes in a few fun Toronto productions.
Yeah, there was
doing the effects.
I would say there was one thing that you were like, it's not often I get offered to like work on a show that I actually enjoy. So
Yes, yeah, that was the first time that's ever happened for me.
Well, we did do, I think like the last time we were sort of talking about I'm going to actually maybe say the title wrong. Was the Day of the Dead was the TV show?
Oh, right.
So we did end up, we did like episode by episode, like small, like recordings for each of those, and we did end up enjoying like the first half of it, so it was great.
that's my half.
Yeah.
Yes.
To call it my half, even that is generous. But
I mean, and I think like we did every time that it was we did the whole season, but I think that like even when we were doing it like episode by episode, we could definitely tell there was a difference, but super enjoyed the first half.
Well, I'm glad you got something out of that crazy experience. Yeah, so someday I'll tell the whole story, but for now,
okay,
just let it sit.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, yeah, thank you again. We will absolutely do this again for a full moon thing, because we are woefully underrepresenting full moon on this podcast. So I've done numerous bonus or guest spot episodes on the Evil Bong movies at this point, but nothing. I feel like Slimeball Bolorama might be the only full moon movie we've done so far.
Nice. Well, there's definitely some muck to dive into there.
I take it back. We did Ginger Dead Man.
Oh, well,
yes, we did. We did.
Perfect film.
Oh wait, can I pitch what the full moon movie should be?
Oh yeah, we're absolutely
absolutely.
We do Dr. Mordred.
Oh fuck yes, I'm absolutely yes. The Jeffrey Combs Doctor Strange ripoff.
Yes.
100%.
All right,
I've watched that movie way too many times.
That movie rules.
It's fucking awesome.
Have you seen the weird 70s TV pilot Doctor Strange movie?
No, I've seen like stills from it and like seen a bit of online discourse about it, but I haven't actually watched it. Is it like on YouTube or something?
Yeah, probably. Shout Factory, I think, just released it on Blu-ray this year.
Yeah.
And so I just like blind bought it because I was like, hell yeah, I'm in for some shitty 70s Doctor Strange Marvel movie. And like it's very akin to like the Incredible Hulk TV show at the time, where it kind of drags a bit, but Jessica Walters is in it and she's killing it as just like an evil witch.
Sweet.
Definitely. definitely high recommend. But I watched that Dr. Mordred movie sometime this year for the first time, and I was like, this rocks. Jeffrey Combs just being a wizard. I'm in.
You got stuff in dinosaur skeletons. What more do you want?
Yeah, perfect. All right.
We definitely love Jeffrey Combs, so I'm in.
Oh, it's the best.
Yeah, we will absolutely have you come on for that, because that's perfect.
Sweet. I look forward to it.
Hell yeah. All right. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for having me, guys. We'll talk soon.
Scanning the streets of Los Angeles, a killer is loose.
Yes!
Who's this guy?
Carl Volkin. He's a scanner.
Only one man can stop him. A cop, just like him.
What the hell's he want? He wants me.
Volkin is gaining strength from the scanners he's killing.
You're going to give me all the strength and power I need.
Denise, what? He's sucking the life force out of the scanners he's killing for power?
Maybe more powerful than you at this point.
Yes! I'm waiting for you, scanner cop!
Daniel Quinn.
Up against the wall.
Patrick Kilpatrick.
I need more.
Terror is a state of mind.
Now I'm going to show you what scanning is really all about.
And if you don't stop him, oh God, he's gonna kill all of us.
Scanner Cop 2. Volkin's Revenge.
I've waited a long time for this.
I'm sure you have.
Added to it. Katie, any news this week?
The news is that I already miss our best friend, Stephen Kostanski.
Yeah.
I didn't look. I don't know. You tell me.
Either of you watch the Renfield trailer?
Yes, I did actually.
I haven't yet, and at this point, I think I'm just gonna wait, and I'm just gonna go watch the movie blind. Like
I was gonna do the same thing, but I was like, fuck it, I want to see like what like tone this movie is, and it looks very What We Do in the Shadows kind of like tone.
I was not expecting it to be like a silly movie, and that's what I gathered from everyone's reaction to it, was that it was very much like What We Do in the Shadows and like kind of a silly thing. And I was like, oh, all right, perfect. That sounds even better than what I expected in my head, you know?
I actually watched the trailer by accident. Like it started playing on something I was visiting and I wasn't even like paying attention. And then I was like, oh, okay. Like I'm extremely in.
Yeah, it looks like it's gonna be like that's one that will like get me to go to a theater to see, I think, when it comes out. I didn't watch the full trailer, but I like the little teaser for Evil Dead Rise.
I didn't watch that.
We talked about it a little bit, but I'm hesitantly like excited for it.
The full trailer was good.
I'm
sold pretty much.
The poster art is pretty terrible, but like
I liked it. I like it a lot better than the Beau Was Afraid poster art.
Oh yeah,
it's the worst shit I've ever seen.
I just like, I don't know, like the smiling mom is on like the poster is just like, I don't know, but I like the idea of like, you know, a skyrise apartment complex Evil Dead movie, so
yeah,
I'm hoping it's
unique.
I'm hoping it's a lot like Demons 2, which was essentially.
Yeah, we need motorcycles, dirt bikes and katanas, and blocking off the parking garage with gym equipment.
Apparently everybody's very excited that Eli Roth is making his Thanksgiving movie from the fucking trailer from Grindhouse, but
it's fucking like 15 years too late, my guy.
Yeah. Boo.
Yeah.
Go get another haircut. Boo.
Go back to making ghost TV shows.
Listen, as I've stated, I love trashy ghost shows, but even and I don't like religiously watch Ghost Adventures or anything, obviously, ever since Zach Baggins would not say hi to me on Twitter. But even that was just like too stupid. Even like his ghost stuff was too stupid for me to watch. So
yeah, look bad.
Yeah, not great.
All right. Well, Katie, did you watch anything this week?
The only thing that I watched, besides just like having like random TV shows on for background noise, is like the first night we moved in, we didn't have internet, so I rewatched Pretty in Pink, which is one of my favorite movies. So, obviously I liked it. And I think that's it. I've been watching a lot of This Old House since I need to know how to take. Yeah. It's actually so interesting.
That show was like the bane of my existence when I was a kid, because it was just meant that like I couldn't watch cartoons on Saturday mornings or whatever.
I mean, that's fair.
You gotta get on that Bob Vila tip.
I actually did. I was like Googling about just like random stuff, and I was like, oh, if Bob Vila says it, it's got to be true. I trust Bob Vila with my whole being.
Yep.
Kit, did you watch anything good?
Good. No. Well, that's a lie. I watched Undead. It just popped up on Shudder. It's the one that Vinegar Syndrome's releasing through a partner label. I was like, oh, cool. I wonder if this is good. It's not. It's very bad. It's very annoying. Then I watched Rambo First Blood Part 2, which I'd actually never seen, because the first one is so good and such a perfect, like, anti-war, like, film that I knew it was going to break my brain watching the second one, where it's like, oh, we should send him back to Vietnam and have him kill a whole bunch of people.
Oh.
And, yeah, it's okay. Like, whatever, I'm never going to watch it again. And then I rewatched District 9, which holds up and still rules.
So
and
good.
It's too bad the director died immediately afterwards and never did anything else.
I don't know if I'm aware of who the director that was. Like, what else?
Neil Blomkamp. He did Elysium,
right.
which was like okay, and then Chappie, which I watched 5 minutes of and wanted to fucking kill myself. And then
the weird period when people were making fighting robot movies for some reason.
Yeah. I just like put it on. It had already started, and it was where D. Antwoord were like teaching him how to swear or something, and I was like, oh my god, this fucking sucks so bad.
Yeah, that checks out.
And now he's making a Gran Turismo movie.
Weird.
What?
Yeah.
The video?
I don't know how you make. Yeah, I don't know how you make a movie out of Gran Turismo. But why not?
Sure. Most of what I watched this week was rewatches. I've just been watching a shit ton of Italian horror. Mostly Fulci stuff for an episode with Girl That's Scary we recorded that'll be out at some point. I think the only new things I've watched is I started digging into Vinegar Syndrome's Forgotten Gialli box sets. So I watched through the first one, which had 1978's Trauma, not the Dario Argento one, but somehow kind of worse one.
That's not what I was expecting.
It's like it's a real bummer because the first set, all three movies are mostly kind of boring. Trauma was like okay, not a very great giallo, but just I don't know. I wasn't like mad I watched it. The second one, The Killer is one of 13. It's just fucking boring. Like, you don't get a single kill until like 63 minutes into the movie. And it's just like a woman who like gathers this group of people that she, for like, like a dinner party or some shit that is like, she thinks or like could possibly be responsible for her husband's death. And it's just like 45 minutes of her telling the story of how her husband died and how she thinks somebody in this room was responsible. I was like, it's so fucking boring. And then the last one has one of the most ridiculous Italian horror titles I've ever seen. The police are blundering in the dark.
I mean, so true though.
Also,
they're blundering in the light. Also,
yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Not the best, but like kind of like Trauma was one I wasn't like I didn't like hate watching, but just kind of slightly boring. There's a reason I believe these were all forgotten. I feel like The Police Are Blundering in the Dark might grow on me on some rewatches, but I don't know if I'll ever rewatch The Killer is One of 13.
What a title.
Yeah, it's you know, when the best thing about your movie is the title, it's not great. I think that's it. I watched a movie called The Night Child on Tubi that was like okay. It was just like another, like, it was like an Italian sort of Exorcist type, or it made it like, you kind of, the beginning of it makes you think it's going to be like an Exorcist ripoff, but then just kind of just turns into some shit where a kid's screaming a bunch and not totally worth watching. Even
The Babadook.
Oh god.
Ugh.
That's I don't understand the love that movie gets.
I don't either, and I saw that in the theater.
That's unfortunate. I watched it at home and did not
extra loud child screaming.
Yeah, that's all that movie is. All right, shout outs. Katie, why so serious?
I'm sure I've talked about this before, of my love of Kit Kats.
Yeah,
and,
best candy bar.
Literally, my goal is to try every flavor Kit Kat that's out there. I recently, I'm like obsessed with, it's called honeycomb candies, but it's not actually like a honeycomb. That's just what they call it. It's like kind of, I think sometimes they call it sponge. And actually, I like had some and I like had posted about them, and then like Sally sent me, there's like a bunch from Australia actually, and she sent me a few different ones that I loved. But then I found honeycomb Kit Kats, and
good.
They were so freaking good. I ate like the whole, it was like one of those like big pack, like, you know how they make like tiny Kit Kats and then they make like the one where it's just like two sticks, like two regular size sticks. It was like that, and it was a little expensive, but it was so freaking good. I found them at World Market. And then the seasonal flavor for spring, I guess, they have them out for Valentine's Day right now, is raspberries and cream, and I am like obsessed with raspberry flavored things, and so I got a pack, and these are like the little mini ones, but they are so good. So my shout out is Kit Kats. If you can find the honeycomb ones, high recommend. The raspberry ones are good too, though.
There's a company that does like a vegan version of Kit Kats that are so good that like have been out of stock at my work for like months, and it's killing me.
I've never seen vegan ones.
I forget. Like, I mean, you know, they're just called like, you know, chocolate covered wafers or some bullshit like
right.
that. But like, I can't remember the name of the brand, but they're like, I mean, like, you know, it's like a dark chocolate and sea salt, and then like the peanut butter wafer, like fucking whatever in it. Like, so it doesn't necessarily taste like exactly like a Kit Kat, but they're really good. And I've been like, I check every day I go in, and I just think no one's scanning to get them in.
Yeah.
Gonna get Scanner Cop to scan in some Kit Kats for me.
Yeah.
Kit, we will shout out.
Great question. I said Man's Best Friend earlier. Man's Best Friend.
That's the Lance Henriksen.
Or Rottweiler.
Right?
Yeah.
I think I watched that for the first time this year too. It's
Is he a dog?
Yeah, he plays the dog.
Amazing.
If anybody could do it, it would be Lance Henriksen.
I imagine
method
it's like
acting.
The Lighthouse, where he just like is a dog, but he's a person.
Lance Henriksen was my most watched actor for the year on Letterboxd, and like,
of course,
I was like trying to go through to figure out what percentage of it was like shit I actually enjoyed, and what percentage of it was just like garbage that was streaming on Tubi that he just pops in for like 5 minutes and is like not in the rest of the movie. I think I ended up watching something like 30 movies with him in it.
Wow.
I'm assuming 4 of them were good. Maybe a little more because, like, you know, that includes like the Alien movies and Pumpkinhead and Man's Best Friend.
Yeah.
Fucking William Butler was my most watched director, and I was like, who the fuck is William Butler? And I saw that he does a bunch of Full Moon movies, and I was like, shit, I watched like 4 of those Full Moon Reanimator movies. Shit.
Yeah, mine was Wes Craven because I watched through his entire filmography like 1 month. It was something like 28 movies or something.
Fuck.
And hot take, most of them aren't good.
Yeah, mostly bad.
He's
well,
Wes Craven is one of those directors that he has like 5 masterpieces and then like 20 something like mediocre to bad movies.
I'll say his good ones are real good.
Yeah.
And then everything else is not.
My most watched stars: Lance Henriksen, Connor Sweeney, Matthew Kennedy, Kevin Smith.
Amazing array of people right there.
My directors, my directors were Wes Craven with 27 films, Dario Argento 26, Carpenter 24, Tobe Hooper 22. Argento could have just made 2 more movies. I could have made him above fucking Wes Craven.
Yeah, what the hell, man?
I at least enjoy more of Argento's than Craven's. What was... Oh, yeah, Man's Best Friend. I was like, did Kit do a shout-out? Where the fuck did mine go? Alright. Mine is, friend of the show, Erica, from, Unsung Horrors, formerly Customers Also Watched podcasts, wrote a book that she has an Indiegogo up for called The Sweetest Taboo, the Unapologetic Guide to Child Kills in Film.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I am fucking... I cannot wait to read. I had reached out to her about coming on the podcast sometime this summer for a movie that I think I want her and Lance to still come on whenever she has time. But she was like, yeah, I'm in the middle of like writing this book that I can't do any guest spots until like the new year. And I was like, oh fuck yes, I can't wait for this to get announced. And she reached her goal of $3,500 in like less than 24 hours, which was
nice.
Pretty sick. And it's sold out now, but I backed the thing for like the untold story level, which is going to come with an Anthony Wong potholder that I fucking cannot wait for.
I can't even fathom what that is.
I can't fucking wait. But like just in general, I think that book's gonna be pretty dope. So if you're interested in getting the book, like it'll be, you're gonna get it cheaper doing through the Indiegogo, and you'll get it, obviously earlier than whenever other places will have it. So go to either Unsung Horrors on like Instagram or Twitter, or Erica's Instagram and Twitter, I think, is just at Hex Massacre, and there'd be a link in the bios and all that shit if you want to get a copy of that book. It's gonna be pretty dope.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And she's also got a piece in
that Hong Kong Cat 3 whatever box that Vinegar Syndrome's got coming out.
Yeah. Which movie is it for?
Demon? Yeah, I think it's
No, not even. Demon's Baby?
Yeah, I forget which one, but I think it's that one. I feel like it's whatever one had like Demon in the title. I can't wait for that fucking box set. That was the thing that like where they were like teasing whatever, where I was like kind of debating on if I was going to be a subscriber again or not. They announced that, and then like whatever they're teasing is like a 10-year anniversary box set. I was like, fuck, I gotta subscribe so I don't miss these. All right, Katie, did you pick a movie for next week?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
It's
Somnium 2.
The Britishing.
Oh my gosh, British Cop.
It's called Bobby's.
It is 2013.
Oh no. It's a bad year.
It's called Vampire Riders with a Z, starring Walter Jones' Sticky Fingers and Terry Kisser.
Holy shit, what a fucking terrible cover art.
There's no way this is real.
It is on Tubi.
Of course it is.
And I think that, well, here we go.
It's only got, it doesn't even have an average yet on Letterboxd.
It does not have an average rating. The director has only this movie.
No. The cast is 5 people.
I mean, this is
But
when you
they're
know
all-
it's good.
Right, but they're all actually, like, in stuff. And one of them is a rapper. So, it's gotta be great, right?
I mean, them being in stuff is cool, but how do you make a movie with just five people in total?
We're gonna find out.
Yeah, I was gonna say, even on, like, IMDb, it's only got 5 people.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
So
all of the products related to this item page on Amazon for the DVD are all Formula One race cars, like toy race cars.
Oh, man. So the director has one other movie he directed called Could This Be Love? And then
the director's name is Cardinal, so I feel like it's gotta be good, right?
yeah, Cardinal Lamberto.
Cardinal Lamberto.
Cardinal is such a kick-ass name.
Also an executive producer on a movie called Waiting for Angels, about a dying man witnesses the downfall of his life and his family.
Great.
Damn.
Yeah, that's perfect. I also love how all 5 people are on the cover, like all their names.
Holy
Sticky
shit.
fingers.
Might as well. You've only got 5 people in your movie. Like,
You can't discriminate. Like, if you leave somebody off, then what's that
That's
saying?
fucked up.
You know? Yeah.
They want to put 4 people on the cover.
The top movie that IMDb recommended me from Vampire Riders, I'm sending you the screenshot and the text, is a movie called Speed Demons that looks incredible, that I'm adding to our watch list for a future episode. God, this movie's fucking terrible.
Somebody in this movie is in Speed Demons.
Oh, this is not on streaming on anything. I might add to the watch list so if it ever pops up. Man, I regret letting Katie pick a movie.
It is Al Santos, who is in Almost Nothing, is also in Speed Demons, so you know that's gonna be good.
All right. I guess watch Speed Demons for next week.
No, it's called Vampire Riders.
I know. That's why I told everybody to watch Speed Demons instead.
Everybody, do not watch Speed Demons first.
Do Speed Demons Vampire Riders crossover movie coming soon.
Although on the Speed Demons cover, it's like a guy wearing like an ATV helmet, and in the reflection of the helmet is a lady getting bitten by somebody who definitely just looks like a vampire with vampire bikers behind them.
Well,
so
it's like the fucking I forget if it was the bio on Letterboxd or IMDb. I think it was IMDb. They said that Volkin is a demonic scanner in Scanner Cop 2, and I was like, wait, I don't think that's true.
No, what movie? There's a movie we did recently where like all of the context for the movie was literally in the like Letterboxd plot, and we were like, how the fuck were we supposed to know that? Oh, what was that other vampire movie we did recently?
The Ron Hall
the martial arts one. Yeah,
Vampire
it was
Assassin.
that one.
Yeah,
it was that one where it was like, how are we supposed to know about this thing that happened in his past that they didn't show us?
What a fucking banger movie.
Well, hopefully this will be just as well.
This is gonna be terrible.
I hope that there's. I don't know.
You know it's
can't
gonna
wait.
be bad because there's a Z at the end of Riders.
And that's why I picked it.
Oh man, there's some like people are watching some weird shit on my Letterboxd that looks perfect for the podcast. They just add to the watch list so they pop up eventually. I don't know what
concerning.
Night Chills, or KNIGHT Chills. That's got a picture of a knight holding a Dungeon Master booklet on the cover. Tagline: role playing with a vengeance.
Sounds good to me.
This movie looks incredible. All right. If you would like to support us, you could join our Patreon at patreon.com/IHopeYouSufferPodcast. Sometime in the near future, we'll have an episode on Freddy Got Fingered that I can't fucking wait to record, because this is going to be Katie screaming for an hour.
I'm already sad.
Oh, it's so good. I think you're going to like it this time. I keep saying it, but I think it's going to happen.
I don't know.
I think you're going to really appreciate the sausage scene again, or for the first time.
The broken knee. It's the best scene.
Oh, God, what a fucking masterpiece.
Incredible film.
If you would like some merch, you can get some shirts at our Store Frontier shop. Leave us a rating on Spotify or rating and review on iTunes. Tell us if you would watch our Scanners show. It's executive.
We know you would.
Executive produced by I Hope You Suffered, Stephen Kostanski.
Oh, one last scanner pitch idea. Check this out.
Okay.
Allegedly, Avatar 3 is like 9 hours, and James Cameron's got to whittle it down. I think we can turn the leftover footage into a Scanner Avatar movie.
I mean,
Scanatar.
Don't even whittle it down. If I was James Cameron, I would just be like, fuck it, just release it.
9 hours.
Who gives a shit?
Scanner Avatar.
Like, if there was like, I wouldn't do it for an Avatar movie, but like, if somebody was like, hey,
a Scanatar movie,
like
you would.
James Cameron's Aliens was 9 hours. Sorry, it's just we can't whittle it down. I would be like, fuck yes, let's go. You know, like, if it was the fucking movie, like a franchise I was into, I would be fucking stoked on a 9-hour movie.
Yeah.
Just
Scanatar.
Yeah, I'm in.
Let's go.
That's it. That's what Avatar 4. Since 3 is gonna introduce the fire one, like Na'vi or whatever.
Oh yeah.
4, they're gonna be scanners.
Scanner Na'vi.
You can follow us on Instagram at I Hope You Suffer Podcast. Follow Kit at Hidden Kitstery and Kitrification of Blood. Follow Katie at Werewolf Face. You can join Katie's Patreon at patreon.com/werewolfface. Go join and get Katie to make you a purple Lamborghini
shirt
that says "Why So Serious" on the side, a crochet version.
I actually also, so I sent, for the gift exchange, I sent your Patreon, your like November, December Patreon rewards in there, and there's one that I cannot wait for you to so you have to, we'll open it on our gift exchange Patreon episode, but I like literally for months have been mischievously grinning in my head. I cannot wait for you to see it. It is maybe one of the best things I've ever done.
All right, well, you can look forward to that sometime in February, I think.
Yes.
If you're a Patreon supporter. All right, Vampire Riders or whatever the fuck next week.
Yeah, Ride Pyres.
Go watch Manborg instead.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I'm doing Manborg rewatch.
I
Kid
feel
and I'll watch
almost...
Manborg. Katie will watch Vampire Riders.
Okay. I feel like almost anything you could skip for Manborg, to be honest, but
yeah, true.
All right. I hope you take
Manborg.
take ephemeral.
Yeah.
But why? I don't know.
To suppress your scanning powers, duh.
I'm gonna kill you so bad, but why?